Okay, so let me turn that on. Okay. Helene, can you hear me? Raise your hand if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Oh, yeah, you can hear me. Good. Okay. All right. So everybody, welcome. It's the 17th day of Shabbat. We're 2 days beyond Tu B'Shvat, but I still remember Tu B'Shvat, and and so I wanted to call everybody's attention to a symbol that I'm holding up in my hand, Bruce, a symbol. Uh, Bruce, what are these?
Utensil to eat.
What are these? Come on, somebody tell me. Look at them.
Lobster.
What do you call?
Boxer.
Boxer. Okay, yes, they're called, in English, they're called carob. Yeah, these are carob shoots. These are from carob trees, okay? And the festival of Tu B'Shvat would never be complete without having these symbolically on the table. And those of you who went to Chabad, I'm sure you looked at them and you saw them. You may not have registered them, but excuse me,
Is it sometimes called St. John's the bread?
St. John's. That I don't know. I don't know. I know it's called. It's these are carob, and carobs are very important for the holiday. And if we don't get there, my purpose today is the following. We're going to first speak about a short poem written by Joyce Kilmer. Joyce Kilmer, and then we are going to move to Proverbs. We have not covered Proverbs in our class, but we will cover Proverbs. Those of you that are coming in, David and Michelle and Audrey, we are covering Trees first by Joyce Kilmer. It's a 12-line poem. We will rapidly go through it and then segue to what I call the essence of this roundtable, which is discussing the importance of trees in Judaic tradition, in Tanakh, and Torah and Pesuvim, which are the Chronicles. So we go from trees to Proverbs. We're going to Leviticus 26, which talks about it's called the Tochacha, which is the admonition. There are two parshas in the Torah which are heavily come down on people. If you do not follow the laws, of course, we know we're going to be receiving the laws this weekend. This weekend is the weekend of Jethro, and Jethro, the parsha of Jethro is we have the Ten Commandments. But we'll be speaking about the Tochacha, the admonition. That's Leviticus. Then we'll be going on to Deuteronomy, and Deuteronomy is talking about the destruction of trees, not cheese, trees, okay? And why it's prohibited to destroy trees. We'll get into that. And then finally, time permitting, for those of you that want to hang around, I do have a handout on this. I'm not going to give it to you now, but we can talk about the famous Talmudic story about Choni, the circle maker. And for that, because of that story, the rabbis have included in the Tisha B'Av, Tisha B'Av, the Tu B'Av, okay, the Tu B'Shvat ceremony having carob seeds, and it's very symbolic, but it's a beautiful tale. And the theme today is one of legacy. The theme is one of continuity, and trees are very symbolic. Okay, everybody should have. Let me open up the screen so that those of you who are at home can see what we're talking about. Okay, let's talk about trees. All right, trees. Let's go down here. Share. And everybody should see trees. Those of you who are tuning in, Judy, welcome. Trees written by Joyce Kilmer. Joyce Kilmer he is an anthologized poet. I had my high school course in English. I studied him.
Yes.
Joyce Kilmer. He's a famous poet, And he's so famous that those of you who drive down the turnpike will know that there's a Joyce Kilmer station, and it's got pictures of him with his doughboy hat, World War II. So he attended Rutgers University and Columbia University, where he was on the Spectator newspaper. He then went on to be editor of the New York Times. He wrote a lot of poetry, and he served in World War I in the 69th fighting, what they called the Fighting Battalion. And sadly, he perished in 1918. He lived a very short life. So you should know that he became at some point a devout Catholic. So there is a very strong feeling as we go through this poem, Kilmer, towards God. I mean, God is a unity here. We're not talking Trinity, a unity, and he feels making a connection between trees and what the great force that's behind trees. Okay. Now, is there anybody here that would like to read the whole poem? It's very short. What I would like somebody to read it, and then I can parse it line by line, and then you guys can fill in. But you should hear it read from beginning to end. Okay. You want to read it, Joyce? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I think that we'll never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth pressed against the earth, deep flowing breath. A tree that looks at God all day, with its leafy arms to pray. A tree that may from its air and nest of robin.
Can't hear it, Dave. Can you?
Okay, if you can speak up because they can't. Start again. Yeah, speak up. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breath. A tree that looks at God all day, lifts her leafy arms to pray. A tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair. On whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make it to be.
Thank you very much. My reaction, especially the last two lines, is, it's like a joke. I mean, he's treating trees very lightly. For that reason, David, my Columbia classmate, will know that Columbia University has a annual event of it's called the Joyce Kilmer event, where they make fun of poetry, because this poem it's anthologized for two reasons. Number one, it's sentimental. It is sensual, sentimental, sensual, and it is simple. It's very simple. And for that reason, people, they tend to make light of it. But in my humble opinion, this is a very deep poem, and it's a great segue to our discussion about trees, as we will see in Proverbs and in the Torah and in Talmud. So he begins off, again, it's just 12 lines. Very simply put, I think I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree. Well, poetry is not really arboreal. We don't think about poems. Poems are sentiment. They're people's personal feelings. But again, it's a light introduction. A tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast. Okay. What is he talking about here, Joyce? The tree's hungry mouth. I mean, very symbolic. What do you picture? Is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast.
Talk about the roots for which the tree gets nourishment from the earth.
Roots, yeah, its roots. I mean, he's looking at a tree as if it's a human being, personifying a tree. Okay, it's a hungry mouth. And we know the trees are hungry. If you don't feed them, I mean, they starve and they die, and we don't get fed. Against the earth's sweet flowing breast. And again, it's a sense of sensuality, a sense of maternity. There is a sense that the tree is a maternal being, if you will, a nourishing being like a mother would be. And let's go on, okay? A tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray, okay? is there anything that we can confute or say deny that is true? Is everything indeed true about this, right? A tree is out there in the wilderness or amongst a grove of trees, and all day it's waiting for sustenance. It's waiting for sunrise. If you don't have sunrise, then perhaps the tree won't get its full sustenance. And again, I mean, tree is like a human being, as we'll see later in the Tanakh that I have quoted here, that man is considered the tree of the field, as we will see later on. Reason that you cannot destroy trees when you go to war is because the tree is considered like um, a, a, a seed of man. It's considered a symbol of man, okay, or woman, if you will, okay. A tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair. I mean, very straightforward, very beautiful image, okay. That not only does the tree provide shade for us, but provides tree for nature, for birds nest in trees. That is although I've seen them nest in many other places, but trees are a favorite. Go ahead.
It's interesting that this poem picks the robins as the representative of that with the Wells tree. And I thought it was always puzzled me, how come we pick up robins? There are so many other birds that rest and nest within the trees, and why not just plain bird?
It was, no, it fits the, it fits the flow of the poem, the pentameter or whatever.
Very interesting
no.
point. Very interesting. Yeah.
Hummingbirds won't fit, cardinals won't fit, robins are.
Robin, it just flows along.
Yeah.
Robin, redbreast. I mean, again, the redbreast, sensuality. But very good. I mean, you're parsing the poem the way it should parse. I like that, Lloyd. Keep it up. Upon whose bosom, again, back to sensuality. Upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. You've got again the maternal aspect. You've got the change of seasons. Snow just came up in New Hampshire. We had so much snow up there. The trees were just laden with sugar-coated snow. And it's change of seasons. You have snow, you have rain. Snow does turn into moisture and rain, so the tree is sustained. Okay, and then the final line, Michael. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree. That is a very puzzling. I think it's so clever the way he ends that poem. Here I am. I'm just an ordinary guy like you, writing about, comparing poems to men, to women's breasts, to nourishment, to roots, to looking up at God in the sky. But after all, a poem is made by God. That's his message. His message is one of divinity, that we're living in a divine world, and don't take trees for granted. You can't take them for granted.
So simple and yet so profound.
The great poem. All right.
It's the message is so often ignored because in order to create agriculture to feed the people, we keep clearing trees away in order to create farmland.
I've seen clear cutting in Oregon that's just amazing. You just look at acreage, you just cut down trees.
Richard,
And yes, go ahead.
I'm turning the page, and I think this is very interesting.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense. Because in August of 1915, it was copyrighted from Trees and Poetry too. Okay? It was published. The source is poetry from August 1913. In other words, the source was way before they published it.
He wrote this poem as part of an anthology, as a collection of poems. Okay, so obviously he wrote it before he died. I mean, he died in 1918. So, but I'm glad you turned around. For some reason, I don't have you, but you have. But I appreciate your again. Thank you for looking very closely. Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Was he a spiritual man? I mean, because it's
Very spiritual. Oh yeah. This man became a devoted Catholic. I mean, he was very. He almost like an altar boy, if you will. I mean, he was just.
And did he write was Joyce Kilmer as his synonym, or did he have that? Was that his real name? Or
Say that again. Did he
was
write?
that his pen name, or
Yeah, this is his given name. Yeah. There are high schools, there are schools named after him in New York and New Jersey. And he will live forever like some trees that should be living forever. Okay. We make a segue to Proverbs. Okay. Everybody should have a sheet of Proverbs. Everybody have one here to put it out? Okay. Was he a, he was not a practicing Catholic. Yeah, so, yeah, here we go. This is a sheet called Proverbs 3. Okay, I introduced Proverbs for a reason. Because these particular lines of Proverbs culminate in perhaps the most profound message about trees that we have in our liturgy. Okay, and that's the tree. It's the tree of life idea. Okay, the reason I chose Proverbs because Proverbs, of course, were written by King David's son Solomon. He wrote it in order to convey a message. The rabbis say, look at the book of Proverbs, which I have here, as it's in the third part of the Tanakh. The Tanakh consists of the Torah, the Nevi'im, which are the prophets, and the Kesuvim, which are the Chronicles. So this is a part of the Chronicles, okay? And it's a lesser known book. It's a book that we don't really discuss, but I think it's so important because the messages are divided into there are 3 sections of the book of Proverbs, very, very briefly. The section begins with what are called the the Chachma, the wisdom. The whole purpose of Solomon writing the Proverbs is to gain wisdom. We know he's had hundreds and hundreds of wives. He's had fantasies that have encompassed so many jewels and wealth, and so he's taking his experience of so much things, of material things, sensuality, and he's trying to teach us lessons about life so that we don't repeat the mistakes. The whole purpose of Mussar, and Mussar is a word which comes from the word yasar, which in Hebrew means either correctness, or it means ethics, or it means discipline. So this is a book basically of how to live a life of disciplined life. In other words, you got a Torah, but the Torah doesn't tell you how to live life on an everyday basis. But Solomon lived a complete life. I mean, he had many women. He had many generals in his army. He built many houses. He had many slaves. What I don't know, I can't say about slaves. I can't say, but he had many experiences, and he condenses it in this book. And it's there's a lot here. So the Proverbs that I chose are from the book, chapter 3 of the book of Proverbs. Okay. And another word for Proverbs is parables. And the rabbis analogize what a proverb to a very simple idea. And the idea is if there is a jeweler who has an immense wealth and his most precious diamond has been lost, and he's at loss. I mean, how could I find this? I spent my whole life and it's in this diamond, tremendous wealth. And what does he do? He takes a candle and lights the candle, and he with the candle he finds the diamond. So the whole idea of a parable is the idea of it's a simple action, a practical action that illuminates, sheds light on what might be a complex situation. Okay, so that's what we're going to see here in the few parables that we do read. Okay, give you that background so that you don't feel lost here. I've not read the whole book. I've read parts of it, and I'm very impressed with it. And I do have to say that as I do enter this section, it made me think of Hamlet is very Shakespeare's most famous play and one of the most famous uh, uh, speeches is Polonius's speech to his son Laertes. Uh, Polonius is a father. He has a daughter, Ophelia. Ophelia falls in love with Hamlet. She commits suicide. We think, we're not sure. Her brother Laertes thinks that Hamlet, because it was his paramour, that he caused Ophelia to commit suicide. And Polonius is making a speech to to Laertes, his son, as Laertes is going to Paris. He's going to get an education. Very traditional, go from Denmark to Paris and get an education. And of course, he says very famous lines. He says, "Neither a borrower nor a lender be, for loan oft loses both itself and a friend, and borrowing dulls the edge of husbandry." When you borrow, husbandry is the idea that you conserve, you watch over your assets, and when you're continuing borrowing and loaning, it's hard to become an accountant. So to speak. It's hard to keep track when you're making a lot of loans, but especially when you're becoming a borrower. So he's telling his son, if you go to Paris, dress reasonably. Don't try to impress everybody that you're a fop. You're somebody who loves to dress up, and become a listener. Don't become a speaker. Listen to what other people. It's a very beautiful speech, and if you have nothing else to do, but that reminded me so much as we get in here. Okay, so let's talk about Proverbs. Okay, so Lloyd, you want to read the first proverb, beginning at number 9? Okay,
Honor God with your wealth,
okay,
with the
continue.
best of all your income.
Okay, Kabed et Adonai. Of course, this weekend we have Kabed et Avicha v'et Amecha. But here is God speaking to us as if we're a son of His. I mean, that's the whole attitude here. So respect God. I mean, with your wealth, with the best of your income. I mean, the way I analogize it is the Sabbath comes once a week, and in my household, since my grandmother was a fashionista, a Yiddish-speaking fashionista in the early 1900s, but she had us dress ultimately well. Her father was an outstanding physician, and your son's the doctor. You got to look well, and to me, that was honoring God, was dressing up to the hilt. Okay, if we weren't dressed well, back down to my mom, you had to change your tie, shirt, whatever. So the idea is whatever you have, and if you have extra, donate it. Donate it to a good cause to honor God. Okay, I think it's a beautiful idea here. Okay, Arlene, are you ready to do number 10?
And your barns will be filled with grain. Your
Vats.
vats will burst with new wine.
Okay, this is the idea, and this is in the Shema Yisrael that we chant every day, is that if you follow God's commandments, you will become agriculturally successful. I mean, this is written, Torah is written during about an agricultural time, and rain, and it was very, very important. And they're saying if you honor God properly, He will reward you. It may not come all at once, as we're going to see here. You may not be rewarded. You may have to pay up for some sins that you committed. We'll see in this very fatherly introduction to the parables, that God is making you suffer for a reason, so that you will learn some lessons in life and make some corrections. I mean, that's what Mussar is all about the ethical, getting to the ethical conduct. Okay, Stuart, we're up to number 9, 10, 11.
Right.
Yeah.
Do not reject God's discipline, my son. Do not abhor such rebuke.
Okay. Do not reject God's discipline. Okay, Mussar. There's the word Mussar. Okay, mentioned many times in Proverbs. So ethical conduct, Mussar. Don't despise. Don't despise God. Don't if you're being punished for some reason. I don't know why this is happening to me. But Solomon is saying, "Hey, my son, take care. There's a reason that everybody has to go through some hard times. There are reasons. And, you may not understand it, but you may be better. If you don't understand God's way, maybe you should pick up his book and learn how to live a proper life. Maybe there's some area of life you're not living correctly. Okay. And that's the idea of Tim Us. Don't make fun of, don't disregard it. Okay. Alto coats. Don't be disgusted with the tochacha, which we're going to get into. I mentioned to you one of the chapters of our pilgrimage today. It's a verbal reproof. Tochacha is verbal reproof. Mussar is physical affliction. So there you have both of them. You have both of them. So do not abhor. There's a reason that you are suffering. And Rashi says, if suffering comes upon you, Rashi says, believe it or not, cherish it. Cherish it. If you despise affliction, you won't receive benefits it was intended to bring you. So sometimes it's better just to say, hey, it's my turn. My turn. My turn, and learn from it. Go on. You got to go on. That's it. You can't keep blaming God or blame people. Look at yourself, and there's a reason for everything, as I say, a reason for everything under heaven. Okay, number 12. We're up to Susan.
For whom God loves, God rebukes. As the father, the son whom he favors.
Okay. What's your reaction to that, Susan? For whom God loves, God rebukes, as a father, the son whom he favors. Okay. Any reaction?
Yeah, that sometimes a parent is tough on you.
That sometimes what?
Sometimes a parent is tough on you.
Tough love.
Yeah.
Right, tough love. Okay. That the parent comes down hard on you. The parent's got a good reason,
Sometimes.
you gotta, yes. And many times the child doesn't want to accept it. And that's where you run into problems. Okay. It's like a good friend admonishes someone he cares for. So too, Hashem, when he admonishes us, it's because he cares for us. I mean, that's the idea here. As a father, the son, Shema b'ni Mussar ovicha. Listen, my son, to the discipline of your father. We say that in the morning prayers. Okay. Okay, I'm going to call on somebody. Audrey, are you with us here? I got to get the sheet up. I'm terribly sorry, Audrey. We're up to number 12, which is Ki Asher. Okay, which is for whom God loves. Okay. Okay, let me get here. Number 10. Okay. God's grace. See if I get it for you here. Okay. While I'm looking for this, I've
What
got
number do
yeah, but you don't have the sheet. That's the problem. Trying to get access the sheet
Oh,
here.
I'm
Yeah, I'll get you in a moment.
do you hear me?
I can
Did
hear you. Yes, I can.
Okay, okay.
My number 4 here, and let me get out of
All
here.
right. Yeah, they are life. Didn't you have that just a minute ago?
Okay, let me just get here. Proverbs. Some reason I closed Proverbs down. Okay, Audrey, bear with me.
No problem.
Okay, all right, so we're up to Bruce. Bruce, yeah.
Happy is the one who finds wisdom, the one who attains understanding.
Okay, Ashrei Adam Motzei Chachma v'Adam Yafik Tenuva. Ashrei, you say that every day, right? Ashrei, Ashrei. Okay, happy. The whole purpose of Solomon's wisdom here, the Chachma, as we say, is to find wisdom. Okay, wisdom is learn the lessons of life so that you can live a happy life. You're not suffering. You're not worried about the future. That you're happy with your lot, and that's the idea here. Happy is one who finds wisdom. So wisdom is the first step, as I indicated, towards living the complete life. You have wisdom, then you have Mussar, and then you have Torah. So you have those three things. Okay.
Is he saying that though, that if wisdom is attaining understanding, or is it like two different
Well,
ideas?
I'm not quite sure what you're asking. Is Chachma, which is understanding. Okay.
Yeah.
Is what?
Is wisdom attaining understanding? Is he?
Okay, you're taking the next step. Wisdom is gained through an agent. Okay, you have to have somebody telling you, pointing out wisdom. You gain wisdom according to the practical thinking, through other people showing you, as Solomon is showing us, or through practical experience. So that's wisdom. It's a two-pronged element. So you have chachma, wisdom, and you have to have an agent of wisdom. Okay, and then Torah is the final one. Ultimately, is Torah, as we'll see this weekend as we get into the Ten Commandments. Okay. Okay.
Different tenses.
Very good. Okay. Very good. Elaborate on that. That's one of my points here, which yeah.
Because I understand very little, but I was reading it, and the first part, past tense, and the second one looks to me like it's future tense.
Future tense. Okay, now that's a question. Very good, very good. So what's the idea here? Why was he talking about if you will do this, then you will? Okay,
Yeah.
what's the intent there?
Well, first you have to have the wisdom, and then you will be able to.
You have to have Solomon telling you how to conduct your life. You have to have a father, an uncle, a brother, a friend, somebody telling you how to make those corrections so that you get back on track. So very good. Look, the Talmud is filled with punishments, and one of the key points in the Talmud is that you cannot be punished unless you are warned. The hatra'ah, you have to be warned in advance. You just can't throw someone into jail if they're not given warnings. Okay. Sadly, I'm not getting into politics right now, but there's a lot for us to discuss on that end. But here, it's common sense. You got to be warned. And so Solomon's telling you, hey, my friend, listen to me as a father to his son. I'm giving you the word here, how you can live the good life. Okay. We're up to number 14. Am I correct? And Joyce, Joyce, you want to do number 14?
Yeah.
And I apologize for some reason. I lost the Proverbs on my screen, but I hope you're listening to
No
it.
problem.
Okay.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Good.
Yes.
David, you're there. I'm going to call on you next, David. Yeah, go ahead.
Her value in trade is better than silver, her yields greater than gold.
Okay. Okay. Kitov Sachara, okay. Sachara refers to commerce, okay. Her value is better than silver. Her yield, what are we talking about here? All of a sudden, we go from generalities, happy is he, father to son, but now her value, her yield, okay. Good question, right? Yeah. Anybody here?
Just
Yes.
one comment. Yeah, kesef.
Okay.
Kesef is in Hebrew actually silver.
Yeah.
Actually, the meaning of kesef is silver. Historically, that was the monetary system of the day. So since they didn't later they came with coins, some made of silver as well. But this is how you paid in chunks of silver. That was how the money that was traded. Abraham spent 400 shekel in silver. Shekel from the word mishkal, which is weight. So
This was the commerce. This was the
commerce of the day. So
the commerce of the day. Yeah.
Silver, it's not
Yeah.
like we understand today, just a piece of silver, bar of silver. It is money.
It is hard cash.
Yeah.
It has value. Okay.
In
And
that context.
and now Solomon has raised the conversation to a very high level, as we will see. Okay. And David, you wanted to, oh, you don't have it. I apologize, Dave, for not having it here. I lost it. I had it on my screen share.
You can read it. You can
Yeah,
read it.
I'll read it for David. Okay.
Thank
Okay. She is more precious than rubies, and we turn it over for the second part. And all of the goods cannot equal her. Okay. Again, female femininity, Yakarahi mifanim, which means she is more precious than rubies. Okay. And
They are pearls.
pearls, good, very good pearls. I have rubies on my translation, but
No,
but
this translated is but
pearls,
in
yeah.
English it sounds better.
Right.
But the original version talks about pearls.
And all of your goods cannot equal her. Okay, so now again, we're in a state of rising up higher. Okay, we are up to Jake. We're up to Jake, right? Orech, which is number 16.
In her right hand is length of days, in her left, riches and honor.
Okay, Orech Yomem Bimina, which is the favorite side for most of us? Probably most of us, the right side, I imagine. So length of days is one of the cherished values in life as we get older, most of us here in our silver years. And so we treasure long life. And in Ishma, you need to follow the commands of your parents in order that you have a long life. And so there's that aspect of listening to a higher order is implied here. If you listen to a higher order,
What is the topic? What is he? He went.
this is what we're getting at. Okay, we're getting at we're getting to a climax here.
It's a reference to the Torah, and the Torah in Hebrew is feminine form. I don't know why. That's a whole.
Very good. Okay, so Mike is referring to Torah. We're leading up to the last two sentences here, which are who has not everybody been called on? Barry, yeah. Number 17, right?
The ways are pleasant ways, and all the paths peaceful.
Okay, Dache Noham. We know this from the Sabbath liturgy. Her ways are pleasant ways, and all her paths peaceful. Okay. And then finally, Alvin. Alvin, did you go? Did I call on you? Okay, yeah. Oliver, you're going to be. Okay.
I get that.
Yeah.
On that, so
Good. Number 18.
he is a tree of life to those who grasp her, and whoever holds on to her is happy.
Happy, yeah. Okay. Etz Chaim hi l'machazikim bo v'tomcheha Mussar. This is the essence of Judaism, the essence which is Torah. I mean, Torah is not something that it's something you need to learn. Quite frankly, you have to learn from other people, people that have been through heavy experiences, and shed light on why you're And many of us have gone through very tough experiences. There's not anybody here that has not had a significant loss of some sort somewhere along the line, including myself. And there's always a reason, and we seek comfort. And one of the ways of seeking comfort is by going to the Torah and learning wisdom and learning from other people so that you can apply it to your own situation. Now, what does this have to do with trees? Okay, we're talking about trees, and I'm sure we're talking about the tree of life, and the roots of the Torah are the entire universe and all the other universes that Mr. Elon Musk wants to capture in his grand illusion of the future. Okay, we know that. We know he's abandoning his batteries in his cars for this greater future, okay, which is wonderful. But let's try to correct things down here. Mussar down here. Okay, all right. So the next, I'm going to have everybody take one. We have about 20 minutes, which is fun. So I'm going to pass out a Torah. Everybody should have one of these Hertz books because I'm going to get into some heavy duty. And David, I'm going to be talking about and Audrey, Leviticus 26, Leviticus 26. Okay.
One more.
Okay, there should be enough for everybody here. I brought a whole bunch.
I would start at 5 on.
One more back here.
Bruce.
Okay, thank you.
Bruce, who doesn't have one? Okay, who doesn't? You need one.
Thank you.
know, you have one. Okay, so let's turn to Leviticus 26, which is, I'll give you the page. And I'll get it up on the screen share because I do have that on the screen share. Okay. All right, 26, 3 and 4, which is on page 542 in the Hertz book. Okay. 542. All right, and getting it up for in a moment, and it'll be on the screen for Audrey and Dave. Let me see if I can move this. Is this movable? Good, it's movable. Oh, wow. All right. Come on. I don't want this. Okay. All right. Now, Leviticus, this happens to be my parsha when I was bar mitzvahed X years ago. I knew this by heart. And one of the reasons I'm presenting this today is because as I was going through this, the lines that I had memorized, Mount Vernon, New York, came back to me. And I said, wow, what a great experience. Okay. Now, I'm taking you into, yeah, Bechukotai, Bahar and Bechukotai. That should, yeah. The whole idea here is trees. We're going to get into trees here, I promise you. And the idea is, and trees related to Mussar, because behind my thinking is that if we learn to treat the Adamah, the earth, correctly, the trees of the earth and people of the earth, we will have a blessed life. It's as simple as that. But, man has a lot to have to go through. There's a lot of Mussar. Now, it begins here, number 3. Everybody should be in number 3. If you follow my laws and faithfully observe my commandments. Do you see it, Audrey? I've got it up on the screen.
Yes,
Okay.
got it.
Now, hukotai refer to the ordinances that you don't understand, that, like, for instance, you've been exposed to somebody who is a dead person, and there are certain rituals you have to go through to cleanse your impure body, and we don't understand why you have to mix all these various herbs together in order to get cleanliness, okay? And so a chok, that refers to the laws. We don't understand the reason, but we do it because, we follow God's way. Okay. Telechu, if we follow halacha, if we follow God's ways and his mitzvot, if we follow them and you do them, okay, you're not just tishmeru, you don't just watch them, but you have to perform them. Okay. It's an actual. And listen to what God says here. V'natati gishmechem, and I will give you your rains in their season, so the earth shall yield its produce, and the trees of the field their fruit. And I will give you your Geshem, your rain. Geshem also refers to materialism as well, Gashmiut, in its time, and the land will be fecund, it will produce, and the trees will give abundance. It's a sense of abundance. Now, if you want your trees to be successful, okay, you need water. You need lots of water. And that's an issue here that and then we will get to it. I promise we will get to the last part here, which is the idea of the right the boxer, the boxer. Go ahead.
I cannot emphasize how important this pasuk, this is. So I never forget it in the Hukotai. So what it says is that if you will follow my orders, the top, and you'll be righteous, basically nature in life will hold its course, the normal one.
Very well said.
Not everyone will get a big mansion. Not everyone will have the latest car model. Life will follow as it should. Nature will not have the crazy things that we see today. Things will be Geshem Beito. The rain will fall at the right time when the trees and the agriculture needs it. This is the highest thing you can hope for, and not what we consider that everyone gets the jackpot or whatever. So this is the reward. The reward is that life will take its normal course, and that's the best we can hope for from nature.
That is as profound as Solomon could have said it, I must say. I totally agree. I mean, there's a course for everybody's life. Everybody has a course to follow, and that's the hardest thing. Mike, what you say is the hardest thing for people to accept, because you're looking at your neighbor. You're looking at this neighbor in Greenwich and that one in Westport and this one up in Easton. How come he's got the big ranch house and why he's got 30 acres here and whatever? If you follow the course he's saying here, if you follow my commandments, you understand that everybody has a designated role in life. This is what we discussed the last session with Ibn Gabriel. If only the priest will do what the priest is supposed to do, and the Levites do what and the Israelites do, and they don't encroach on each other and try to take over materialism, okay, whatever it is, life will flow. This is the idea of the Tao, if you will, the Chinese way of that you're in the Tao. What does that mean? It means that you're in the flow, like Mike says. Things happen. They happen positively. Without you even knowing it, things fall into place for you. And you realize you weren't supposed to have that house. You weren't supposed to have that car or supposed to have that woman that you desired or whatever. But you accept what has been given to you. And for that reason, you show gratitude. You're able to give to others what has been given to you. That's the simple part here. Now, in order to bring this full circle, we have to continue to go to Leviticus verse 20. Okay, so everybody turn to page, you're going to have to turn to the next page, okay? And I'm getting it up for those that are at home here. Page 20, okay, verse 20.
Verse 20.
Yeah, verse 20. Okay, so I've gone through what's called the admonition. These are terrible events that will happen to the children of Israel, and they will be at the mercy of their enemies. God makes it very clear. You don't follow my rules, I'm out of the picture. nature takes over, and nature is man against man, dog eat dog. So that's what we're talking about here. A Hobbesian universe. Everybody's into everybody else's pocket, and it's chaos. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you know what I'm thinking, Mike. You know, and Dave, you know what I'm thinking too. Okay.
Sure,
I know.
sure.
So, uh, I mean, look, he gives you we went from verse 3 and 4 to verse 20, and if you look at this in your spare time, you'll see that there's nothing but tragedy befalling man. Your crops, you lose your crops, you lose your children, you lose your anything has value to you, you know, and you lose the rain. And what he's saying here, and so that your strength, I'll read it, shall be spent to no purpose. Your land shall not yield its produce. It's taking the very verse that we just discussed. The lo titain artzachem et yivula. You'll have no produce. Forget about it. You'll have nothing. All you're getting is barren trees. Okay. The eights are low, and the trees will not yield their fruit. So this is the idea of following the law, following, law as best as we can. Okay. And as we have it, we have time to discuss this lowly branch. Okay, this is from everybody, this is from a carob tree. Okay, the rabbis make a lot of the carob tree. Okay, and that's my final handout here. If we don't, it's your homework will be to read it at home. But we have 5 minutes. You guys can. Okay, I do have some copies here to hand out. I didn't want you guys to be looking at it in advance. And there's some great resources, Torah, trees and caring for the earth, chopping trees. We didn't get to that, but that's very important, chopping trees. And I'll get to it as a segue. Okay, we should discuss, but I will hand out this handout about the carob tree story because everybody should have one. They just pick one and pass the rest around. What I wanted to get as a segue to that, and I apologize, is Deuteronomy has the very important law about trees, and that is, Michael and Dave and Joyce, we cannot, when we go to war, we are not to cut down the trees of our enemies, okay? And I'll get that on the screen. This is in your Torah, in your books on page 533, Deuteronomy 20:19. So I'll get up here, Deuteronomy 20:19, sorry, do I put my glasses on here? 833, excuse me, 833, yeah. Okay, so we're in Deuteronomy, and we're up to, okay, I've got verse number 20 here. Okay, verse number 20. It's from the portion called Shoftim, Judges, Judges, and begins the idea when you go to war, if you're married, you have an excuse. You can stay at home and procreate. Okay, if you built a home and married, the law gives you an exit to procreate and take care of what you have. But everybody else has to go to war, and of course, the Torah is not advocating war. There are times at which war is inevitable, and if you have to go to war, the Torah makes it very clear about rak eitz asher teda kilo eitz me'achalhu. Only trees that I'm sorry, one by before 19, okay. When in your war against the city, you have to besiege it long time. In order to capture it, you must not destroy its trees, wielding the axe against them. You cannot take and just wantonly destroy. The idea is war is war. You're out to destroy a nation. It could be our nation, the Tochacha. God says, you will be destroyed. You don't follow my laws, it's the end of you people. It's terrible. That's the reason when it's chanted in this synagogue, the chanter is very soft, very soft. You don't hear the full weight of the curse. This is God's curse on us, okay? Now, God is saying, follow my laws, everything is going to be cool. You're going to have a natural order. Your life will fall into place and you won't believe it, okay? Now, he says here, now, when he says you're besieging a city, it means you're surrounding that city, okay? In order to capture it, you cannot destroy its trees, okay? The trees, you're saying, well, you're besieging it. You got trees outside of the city, and those trees nourish that city in various ways. There are fruit trees and stuff and like that. Don't destroy these trees, okay? Wielding it, you may not eat of them. You may not cut them down. I mean, strong, very over and over. Or trees. Now, I'm not happy with this translation. Ki Adam Etz Hasadeh, because the man is the tree of the field. Very profound statement. And the rabbis really argue, what does this mean? I mean, to me, it means very simply, man is like the tree of the earth. Man grows, he procreates, he lays seeds, it creates many generations. We don't know where it ends, but some of us have tremendous lineages that we don't even know about. but they're there, and that's the reason you are who you are, okay? Because the man is the tree of the field, and just like I'm urging you, don't kill your trees. When you kill the tree, it's like killing a man. I mean, that to me, that's the profound. And yet, I'm looking at these rabbis, and they're saying they're puzzled. How can a man be like a tree? I mean, they're making this analogy, but that is very important. This idea is very important. And the rabbis take this further. This is not only about the destruction of trees. Okay, this is. And again, I'm quoting the sages. They say destroying trees is understood by the Chachamim, the sages, to include an entire range of needless destruction. Think about that. When any type of needless destruction, just for the sake of destruction, this is major. It's akin to killing trees that are innocent and destroying anything, wanton destruction. That's it. I think we're all familiar with wanton destruction in various ways. It's going on in our world today, very sadly. Okay.
How do you deal with war?
How do you deal with war? Exactly. Go ahead, Lloyd.
Line 20, it seems counterproductive is that you're permitted to destroy a tree when it's not used for food, basically. And that's not true, because trees are used for construction. Everything was built either of stone or wood, and wood comes from trees. So I can
Wantonly, you should not destroy them without purpose.
Destroy trees when they're a vital resource.
This is not a blanket. Yeah, you understand. We're talking about a war situation. Now, the handout that I gave you, you guys are going to struggle with it on your own, but the idea very quickly is that you had this a book of Talmud called Tanis, and it's a book written about when all these droughts that the Jews have had through centuries, and how do you deal with it? You don't have any rain, you don't have trees, okay? So Honi, he's the circle maker. Why is he the circle maker? Because he drew a circle around him, and when no one else could stop the plague of drought, he would pray to Hashem, and the rains would come. So that was Honi. Honi is a So the idea here is that Honi became a wise man, and he was puzzled as to why we say that in the psalm, there's a psalm that we chant before the grace after meals, okay? Birkat Hamazon, right? That after 70 years, that it will be like a dream. And so between the destruction of the first temple and the rebuilding of the second temple was a 7-year period. So Choni is saying, how could you sleep for 70 years? It's like Rip Van Winkle, sleep for 70 years. So come on. It's a joke, okay? But so God gave him a mashal. God gave him a parable. He comes across a man who is planting a carob tree, and Choni is a very wise guy. He says, "How long will it be before this tree actually gives fruit?" And the man says, 70 years. And he says, 70 years. You won't be around in 70 years. What are you planting this tree for? Okay. And the man says, but you don't understand it. These trees that I'm eating from right now were planted 70 years ago. So I'm planting trees for future generations. So this is my legacy. Don't stop me from planting my tree. And Choni, there's more to the story, but basically the idea is that, and it's a carob tree. I want to emphasize that it is a carob tree that we're talking about, and carob trees, by the way, don't eat the seeds here. If they're green, you're going to get nauseous and whatever. But I was able to get a few of these. I got on this wavelength to have carob trees, and for some reason I connected to this Talmud, which I studied 4 or 5 years ago when I taught Talmud, and it really rang to me. So that's the reason that you've got carob trees, and that's the reason that you guys were here for a purpose. And the purpose is, we have a legacy. Whatever you do in life, you're not doing it for the present. You're creating footsteps for other people to come after you to fill up those footsteps, and that's the idea. It's a beautiful idea, and so that takes us full circle. Okay, we went from Joyce Kilmer, a lover of trees, a worshiper of God, the unity of God. We went to Proverbs, the Etz Chaim idea that Torah is a tree of life, sustains us. We went to Leviticus, where we went to Deuteronomy, where you're not supposed to destroy trees when going to war. Of course, trees that don't produce fruit, you can do that. And that's what the Torah says. Okay. And then we went to Leviticus, where the punishments, the admonition, the tochacha that you will get when you do not follow God's commandments. And then finally we have Honi, the circle maker. And sadly, Honi's life was not a happy life. I mean, he was a disbeliever. If you disbelieve in the way of the world, the natural way of the world, then you suffer the consequences. But I don't want to get into it. Pardon? He
planted the trees.
The other man planted. Honi did not plant the tree. Honi was only asking the man, "Why are you planting? You're not going to get no benefit from this." Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, listen. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And I'll announce the next session. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Audrey, Judy.
Thank you.
Everybody have a great day and enjoy trees. Plant trees. Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
great.
Dave, we'll talk, David, as we usually do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you for coming, Dave. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
always a pleasure.
Judy, talk to you. Looking forward, Judy. Looking forward. Okay. Regards to Seth. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.